You see, we puzzle over what is life. How can it come from no life? The answer is it can't. We think of the eternity as no life, and somehow from nothing comes something. It's quite the other way round. Eternity is God. And suddenly in that eternity, we find we are experiencing life in the form of the experience of this universe, good and bad. We are, for a short period of what we call time, in an eternity of time, experiencing ignorance, unknowing, a freedom that the secular world treasures and the godly abhor for its risk and danger. But it's there that we might experience what our heart longs for. Glimpse, and I mean just glimpse, the consequence of such, treason if you like, to the goodness of God. And be, what's the word? Cauterized or something. I don't know what it is. It's sealed. That disaster never be with us. That we be protected through eternity by such experience. That our whole being truly longs for God in absolute purity. And as I say, I commend to you the way of joy and praise, thanks and love and devotion. But this world offers, it seems at times, the vast bulk of the population another way, which is through suffering, and our great abhorrence of such, of loss, of death, of destruction and pain, and enough of this. It's enough to bring about an eternal clarity of mind that longs for God. And that is to love God with all your heart, soul, mind and strength. And I don't want to say this, but I think it's the case that if you don't come through joy and gratitude and hope and love, then you come through pain and sorrow, loss and absolute despair, that you might know in your very depth of being eternally that what you really value is the goodness of God. That's who you do love with all your heart, soul, mind and strength. And the sadness of this world has confirmed that to you. Dear one, may you not have to come that way. May you come the Jesus story way, the children's way, of a child born in a manger in midwinter, of course. The Christian story is, the spiritual story is much older than the Christian story. The Christian story of Jesus and Christmas is just a gloss upon what God has done from the beginning of time in this universe, which has taken the darkness and given his spectacular light of rescue and love and kindness, care, parenthood to us, that we come into eternal being and glory. Let me pause and rehear this a minute. Goodness, I noticed in passing I've done 11 minutes and 25 seconds now. And it's just, I can't believe time could pass so quickly. Or what I've said in 11 minutes. Let me just listen to this again, hang on. Yes, at 4 minutes 36 seconds, it's blessed are they that mourn, you see. How could that be? Well, the crucifixion story is to tell you just that. I mean, it's the picture of mum and so on, a child crucified. What could be worse? Where is she in desperation? Well, in Christian terms, she's at the feet of the cross. To say the very least, passionately crying out to God for her son. You see, it's to say very simply, God is the answer. All the sorrows of the world that you can see in history and historicity, of the peoples and the creatures, all the suffering, drives us to the utter soul conviction that what we truly value is God, the goodness of God, and nothing else. It's a hard way to come, and it's a way that's imprisoned in the time dimension of this universe, that it may be for just a moment to us and vanish into the eternity of history. Necessary, perhaps, for our transformation. But not in fact. For the Jesus story is light in that great sorrow. You can come by simply choosing to love your heavenly dad. How? Think on whatsoever is good and lovely. You will be so encouraged of his goodness that you don't need to come through some ghastly crucifixion of all that you value. On the contrary, you You can delight in all that you value, in the creation here, all the goodness of God, and love Him to the quick, to your very essence of being in life eternal. That's the Jesus conversion. To love God through an act of will, rather than to come to love God through crucifixion, the most awful disasters of living in ignorance in a world of good and evil, light and darkness, understanding and ignorance, life and death. You could say, and I think they do, especially the near-death people, that we come to this world for a reason. It's a very tricky time. But it's with a very wonderful ultimate objective, which is beyond time. The securing of you into fullness of life, eternally, from what would otherwise be, but for the grace and goodness of God, horror of suffering. Of not being, which leaves you longing for life. Which is to love God. You see, it's that every soul comes. Not one is left out. And the story is he leaves the 99 to rescue the one that is lost. I suspect everyone in this world, every life that's ever come to it and ever will, and I don't just mean this world, I mean this cosmos, this universe, is such a lost sheep. This is the place to get lost in, where it will be put right. But even then, there's no reason that you have to suffer such. You can follow Jesus' story. The words that I've given unto you, they are life, our spirit and our life. You need John 17, you know. You need to understand that prayer. You have no idea how little you understand it, and how much understanding can come to you just by familiarity with it. The true scripture is like that. I am commending it to you, of course. I'm not saying it's the only way. I mean, as I've made it very clear in these last two recordings, but, well, I think I made it clear anyway. It's like some of the sayings my mum gave me as a kid. I knew they'd stay with me, and they have. And it's as if life as it unfolds shows the validity of such. Awake for the sun who's scattered into flight, the stars before him from the field of night. This is a poem of Matariki, isn't it? Goodness gracious. Drives night along with them and strikes. The Sultan, the ruler, you see, the king, the palace, your home, with a shaft of light. And the light streams into your room in the morning, your consciousness. A gift, the goodness of God. Thank you, Heavenly Dad, for life here in this world of change and so on, that we might eternally be devoted to life eternal, personified in you, Lord. Love you, Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad.